you ever wondered how to use watercolor to do a portrait, and especially how to do realistic eyes? So I have had that request a number of times. People who have asked me, how do you do the eyes? So I want to show you how I would do a portrait with watercolor, and I guess I'm focusing on the eyes, but it's not just the eyes. You know, the eyes are part of the whole package, if you will, of a face. And a lot of requests have been put in the messages onto these videos asking me to show how to do realistic eyes, and then on top of that with watercolor. So if I could give you some suggestions, the one thing I would suggest is that you do it a lot. Just do it. Just get out your brush, get out your watercolors, and have fun. And don't stop at the eye. Don't stop at the right eye or the left eye. I've seen so many people doing one eye. Take it beyond that. Go to the nose. Observe the distances between the eyes and the nose and the mouth. And there are so many videos that show you like formulas. I don't like formulas. They're okay, and they're okay because you end up with an okay result. But if you are trying to capture the likeness of a person, of a specific person, you really have to study every little nuance about their face. Absolutely. And here's why. Because you and I and all of humankind are very, 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 very good at recognizing faces. Yes, I'm 70 years old. I have met some people on Facebook that I haven't seen since I was a child, and I can still recognize their face, even if it got older, but I can still see them in there. And I'm sure that's true for you too. So you are really, really good. God gave you this ability to know faces. It's just one of our gifts. And so what that means is that, let's say you have two brothers, not twins, because that would be a different example, but two brothers who look very similar. If you do a portrait of one, it might end up looking like the other because a slight little extra area of the eye, a slight difference in the angle of the nose, or the way the face curves, all those little things, little tiny things. So you have to focus. When I used to do portraits, sitting in the theme park resorts, I would study the face in front of me. I had 15 minutes. I had charcoal, and I had 15 minutes, and I would look at a face, and I would see everything about that face and try in my mind to see all the placements, everything. And then as I start to put the charcoal to paper, I rapidly study and restudy, and 90% of the time I got a pretty good likeness in a quick 15-minute sketch. But that means that 10% of the time I didn't. And I hated those 10%. I hated not being able to capture a likeness. I really learned from doing that you really have to study a face. If you have the luxury of working from a photograph, as I do right now, you can measure. You can get a ruler. You can get a graph. You could use the horizontal and vertical lines and create a graph. You can trace. Nothing says you can't trace. Whatever it is you need to do to capture a likeness, that's what you should do. In this case, I didn't trace. I didn't use a graph. I did use a model, and I don't know that I got her likeness, to be honest with you. However, I wasn't trying to, if that makes sense. I was mostly trying to demonstrate how to do eyes. And so that's what I wanted to focus on this one. So how to do a watercolor portrait with realistic eyes. I know I don't normally do tutorials, but I think this one qualifies as one. So again, the best advice if you want to do faces is just to do them, do them, do them. Never stop. Get a pencil, get a watercolor pencil, get a brush, use watercolors. Sketching with a pencil or with a charcoal is a great way because it's quick and it's not cumbersome. You know, you can carry it in your backpack or whatever, and you can do it at lunch, and you can ask a friend to sit for you, and you can sketch that friend, and it'll be fun because your friend and you will giggle because you'll get some things that aren't quite right, and then you'll get them right, if that all makes sense. Well, anyway, so this is, I hope, a beneficial video for those of you who have asked me to show you how to do realistic eyes and a watercolor portrait. And so that's where we're going with this. And let me show you how I did that right now. Okay, let's get started. Again, good morning. It's Saturday, March 8th, right? Yeah, 2025. So I'm going to start because I had a question regarding faces and specifically eyes. So I'm going to start with a little bit of dark, I think. Just try to get a sketch of a face first, and then we'll take it from there. Get the eyes. Hopefully I'm doing it big enough. There we go. There we go. Now what we want to do, we want to just plot it out a little bit. Just see where we can go with this. So let me get a thinner brush in just a moment. Here we go. Just a little idea of a shape of a head. Alright, now I'm going to use a little brush. One of my favorite little brushes. And that's not it. It fools me. That's it. Okay, so a very, very little brush. And what I want to do is I want to sketch in what I think will be the placement of the things. So let's start around here. For the eye, because the eye is the part that I had requests about. So let's do the eye first. Get it in there. Make sure they're equal. from there to there, there to there. Make sure it's even. Sketching it in just like you would do with a pencil, and you could use a pencil. It's probably a good idea to use a colored pencil or a watercolor pencil, because a graphite pencil is going to leave the graphite on the painting. And it's okay if it's a acrylic, because you can paint over it. But with watercolor, I think it's a good idea to okay. I think that's okay. And what I want to do is clean the brush, and I want to get some blue, some light blue. I want to put it in the eye. Just get it across the top of the eye. Same here. Let's water it down. Let's water it down real good. There we go. I want to water it down even more. I want to pull the water down into the eye, the white of the eye. So it's possible to see the white but not make it pure white. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and get some dark lines here. I'm going to use black. I know it's against my better judgment, but I'm going to use black. Here we go. You gotta wait for that inside part to dry before you do anything else. I'm gonna take some of this darker color here. Gonna create a little bit of a shadow here under her eyelid. Just enough. Because we can always come back to it. Painting with a very small brush. I'm kind of mixing brown with red here and watering it down a lot. We want to keep some white on there. Let's do the same thing, sort of on the other eye. Getting some brown again. Got a little bit of this pulled out over here. And spread that out a little bit. Okay, let's get a little bit of this dark. Let's see if we can start her eyes again. Now that it's dry, get her eyeball in there. Go. Put one over here. There we go. Put a little bit of color in there. A little bit of color in the top. Now let that dry. We'll come back to that. Let's get a lip here. Okay. Bottom of that is right next to that. darkness to that, I think. Got a little bit of brown to it. Right there in the middle. We'll come back to that. Here we go. A little bit of this brown here to underscore the underside of her lip. There's the shadow. Let's get a little bit of this red here. Get this top lip in there. Bottom lip we gotta be careful with. Let's get this. Make sure everything is dry before you put something else on top of it. This nostril needs to be darker. And so does this one. There we go. Alright, now let's go back to the eye. Now that that's dry, let's go ahead and get some pupils. Some pupils in her eyes. I have been painting and drawing eyes for as long as I can remember. For some reason, I was always fascinated by eyes. Okay, this next one. Very tiny brush. I think that's what's necessary for this type of detailed picture. I think we're getting there. Let's get some dark brown for her eyebrows. Let's see. Just using this dark brown here for the eyebrows. Alright, let's get the other eyebrow. It's almost like a surgical procedure. Let's get a little bit of rouge on her face, a little bit. Maybe some brown and red mixed together. Let me get this down here first. Just wet this down. create a that's going to be a shadow. I don't know if you can tell yet, but that's the idea here. Okay, let that dry. Let's get her eye lashes. Okay. See over here. Whoops. Whoops. Okay. That's a mistake. Let's get some tissue on there. Okay, we'll have to fix that. It's too wet to work over there right now. So we'll come. The good thing is that's going to be hidden anyway. So all right, there's that. Over here, if it's dry on the bottom, I can add the little tiny lower eyelashes. I think over here it's dry. Okay, let's get this a little bit darker right here. Okay. I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush. I think that's a good one. Hopefully you can see everything I'm doing. Let me get some of this orange on here. Just using the water to thin it out and make it a little blended looking, you know. Okay, let's break some of this down here. Okay. margin here. All right, well, there's our young woman in the painting. Put some background in there, I guess. Just give it a little bit of color on the back. No real reason to, but just to spread it out a little bit. A little bit of color. Okay, well, there we go. I think we'll just leave it at that. So hopefully that helps those of you who want to know about painting. Maybe we can fix this area right here. Hold on, I see an area. Give it a little bit more red right here. Anyway, so there you go. There's our final picture. Hopefully it helps you understand what I was trying to show regarding the eyes, because that's what this was mostly a tutorial for. But there we go, young woman with pretty eyes. How about that? All right, talk to you later. Bye.